Hello ladies and gents, welcome to a new Night POV review. In front of us is the new Peugeot 208. This is the mild hybrid inside. It's a 1.2 pure tech. It's a 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol with 100 horsepower and 48 volt system. Inside there's a small, less than 1 kilowatt hour battery, so it's supposed to give you at least like 50% of driving electric. Now we have a GT trim. It's the top spec. And in this trim we have the top LED lights. On the alert trim or the active you get base LED projectors. Now again, you can turn on or off the lights with a key fob. If I unlock the car flashes. You can see the daytime lights flashing, and you can recognize the facelift with the 3 claws instead of 1. Beautiful looking car. This lime green color really stands out, but in a positive way. It really emphasizes the contours and the sexy design of this car. We're sitting on 17-inch alloys, quite comfortable, independent suspension, McPherson, and there's elastic beam on the back. I can feel that one on the speed bumps and some potholes, but generally the suspension is on the soft side. Alloys are diamond cut, looking beautiful. These have inserts, plastic insert for better aerodynamics. It looks good. I like the new styling. You can see the facelift on the rear. Cargo space is spacious. It has one warm light to illuminate, but you have the street light, so it's quite okay. Now let's jump inside and start driving. Of course, you have keyless entry, so the car will unlock when you approach it and lock when you leave. Now there's a good closing sound and good soundproof in the cabin on the city speeds, but on the highway speeds it's a bit loud. Depends if it's windy outside. It was quite loud, to be honest, on the highway, and depending on the asphalt type, if it's a rough or smooth one. Now you can see the car switches to the automatic mode. Now I haven't actually switched the lights to, I've been filming a B-roll, so it's now on automatic, so I don't think it's supposed to flash you with that white map layout at first. So it is dim now, but if you pull down a menu here, you can control the brightness here. I hope this is okay for you, and then you can see good. Let me just turn on the lights one more time so you can see the interior. These seats are very comfortable, and the interior for such a small car is spacious for 4 people. If you're 185, you should be okay on the front and the rear. If you're 2 meters on the rear, it's going to be a little bit problem with the head space, but everything else is good. Now I'm gonna switch these off. Now I'm gonna stick to the standard navigation. But here's, for example, Google Maps. This is the you can also have Waze. This is the Apple CarPlay, but be advised that Apple CarPlay is constantly connected, and it kind of depletes your juice on your phone. There's a wireless charger here, so I'm just gonna put it here. Now come on, try to hit the spot here for the wireless charger, to be honest, but am I hitting it? Come on. Oh, I think it's, yeah, it's charging. Is it? Yeah, it was charging. Yeah, my battery is kind of low there, but yeah, it's charging. So you can like close it in. Now again, staying to the embedded navigation here. Let's do a little sound check. Short demo. The speakers are quite good, I would say. They're not excellent, but they are good, so not bad at all. Let me just switch to reverse just to show the new cameras. Their HD resolution, excellent. And this is reverse. If you go forward, it's gonna switch to forward camera. So just for example, this is reverse, sorry, drive. So now it's front camera, and if we go out, you can see all the projectors on the screen from the steering wheel. So it's gonna switch off. Now we're gonna head out and start driving. Before we do that, I'm going to tell you the fuel consumption. So as I've mentioned in my review, I went from Zagreb to Zadar and back, so I did a good fuel consumption on the highway. But I'm gonna make you wait just a little bit before I show you the consumption. Now I want to show you here, if I'm driving and you see the speedo blue, this means it's driving electric. Now it's a small starter linked to the petrol motor, or excuse me, the petrol engine, so it helps to coast, and when you're slowing down you're recuperating. But when it switches to white here, it's using the petrol purely. So I'm driving now, and then if I let go, it's going to switch to the electric motor. And then if you're really gentle with the acceleration pedal or the throttle or the gas, you can drive, as you can see, electric and at smaller speeds, so it's not an issue. If you want to speed up, if you're too slow, it's just gonna kick in the petrol. So now I'm like gently speeding up and it's driving electric, and then just, you know, you can see that it just switches to petrol. Speed bumps. 17-inch, almost feels like 18-inch on this car. You know, it dampens, it's kind of softer suspension, but it's nothing compared to the Citroen C4 or C4X I had on test. But it's, you know, on the comfortable side. It's also, I can feel some of the potholes, some of the manholes. It's not super perfect, but it's okay, I'd say, and the passengers in the back didn't complain, although I do feel the rear, that elastic beam kind of, I don't know, it's just sometimes if you're faster you can feel that just hitting. Yeah, okay, let's not keep you waiting too much, just to show you fuel consumption. Now see, I mean, from the moment of start it's telling me I've been driving 72% electric. This is like current consumption. If I go to the second, excuse me, the first one, it's second from the current one, it says currently 5.6. Now I was doing some b-roll shots and I left the car idling, so the consumption immediately starts rising, but my best was 5.4, and this is as you can see after 285 kilometers. That was my way back from Zadar to Zagreb. In total trip that I made from Zagreb to Zadar and way back, it is 6.1. Now my best was 6 liters, and from Zagreb to Zadar with 3 people inside the car and some luggage, I got 6.5, but on the way back there was only 2 of us and consumption fell by half a liter. So that's pretty solid, not too bad. I might do, and cut in this video, a driving around 60 to 80 kilometers per hour through avenues at night, like gentle cruising, and see if I can get something better. But if I don't, I'm not gonna cut it in, so you'll know that this is the best fuel consumption. So 5.5 to 6.5 on the highway. We're driving 60, 70, 80 for the avenues at late night, gentler driving. I've then reset the trip 1, so it's dropped to 5.4, but I did reset the trip 2, and it was after 50 kilometers 4.4 best. So it could be definitely fuel efficient if you're gentle driving and if you're using the little battery, because every time you let go it recuperates, so the battery's for the most time full. And even when it gets depleted, like right now, if you stop on a traffic light, you release, the car starts recuperating, and it you know, charges the battery quite fast. It's almost depleted now, so the petrol kicks in, but as soon as I let go, it keeps charging, and in just few like long recuperations, it really charges the battery quite fast. Now this is the 75 kilowatt or the 100 horsepower version. There is a 100 kilowatt or 132 horsepower version of this car. Yes, that would feel even sportier and would kind of go more with the GT badge. But honestly, Allure package or the Allure trim is well equipped, so you're missing the front camera, you're not getting the 3D cockpit, but you're still getting the digital cockpit, and you know, it's pretty well equipped. So I would say you're not getting those headlights, but you're getting the projectors. Also, you're gonna see the performance. I think it's pretty similar, what memory serves me, but overall, at first, I've tested this car when it launched locally for the premiere, and really impressed me a lot. But then I was honestly disappointed when I picked it up, because I thought it felt like a plug-in hybrid that you don't have to charge. But then I've realized after driving it, this doesn't have the electric motor, so it cannot drive at higher speeds fully electric. The petrol always kicks in, but it does feel like a plug-in hybrid because it regenerates a lot. It has 100% regeneration, and that's a good thing, because if you want to stop on a traffic light, then you just let go of the acceleration pedal and the car starts slowing down, and it charges the battery. Now let me show you some of the digital cockpit here. So this is the driving. In this one, I'm going to come back to this one, you have the lane assist in the distance, but for example, you have the navigation as well here. Yeah, it's also nice. You can have a different screen here, so you can see that, but I like to have navigation on the big screen. And if we go to the, not the driving, I went to the other way, sorry. If you go to the energy, you can see here the status of the battery. Actually, this is the first time I'm seeing this small battery completely depleted on my trip. It was always half full, but I've again left the car idling when I was doing some B-roll, so it's very possible that it kind of depleted the battery almost all the way, simply because the AC was running. Now you can see the power flow or the energy flow. It's currently feeding the electric, but it's a small electric motor tied to the petrol, so it is, you know, pushing the car. And now you can see white, it's the petrol, it's pushing the car. It's a front wheel drive, of course. And then now when I let go, if I want to anticipate, I'm anticipating and I want to slow down, I let go, and you can see the green now, that's with recuperation charging the battery. You can see that the battery is getting juiced up. Now brakes, not to forget the brakes. The brakes, I'm not sure if this is because of the 100% recuperation, they are a little bit sensitive. When I jumped into the car, they felt sensitive, so I would not say that they're you know, in the middle, like I would say most cars have like this kind of medium setup. I've driven very few cars that really brake late, but those are old cars. I haven't noticed that in the new cars, but some new cars, for example like this one, they have slightly more aggressive brakes from the start. So but it's a matter of, you know, just developing a feeling for that, so it's not something that's necessarily bad. This is actually maybe better when you need to like brake hard. We're gonna do that maybe later, and test the performance of the brakes. Now, yeah, after almost 1,000 kilometers in this car, I could say that these seats are trying to hit that touch light, come on. These seats are quite comfortable. This is the G2 trim. You get the Alcantara as an option. That's an option on this car with the leather seats, but my favorite, looks awesome. Now, automatic, I honestly forgot from top of my head the details about this one. It's a 6-speed automatic. I know they were mentioning on the press conference, sorry I forgot, that it's something that was developed for this mild hybrid. So it's a new automatic, but it's pretty good in shifting gears. And when the car starts, the car starts, or when the petrol starts, kicks in, there's a small shake, but it's not that noticeable. It's not, I'm saying this because I have another reviewer who's always commenting like he hates when like diesel engines shake, but the modern diesel engines don't really shake that much. But all the internal, or they call that now thermal engines, all the ICE engines just shake when you turn them on. It's something that's naturally happening when you turn on the car. But here's like, it's really barely noticeable, I would say. So it's good. It's just a little detail for those of you who might be interested in that. See, when you're going downhill, for example, like now, you're actually recuperating into the battery, so that's quite nice. And if I let go here, it's recuperating even more, so the car is slowing down. It's easier to control it in the bends, and this car is then more fun to drive, definitely. See, again, I'm just kind of letting it go. It's coasting, but still the electric motors, the small electric motor, it's kind of pushing it forward, and it's in the bend and it keeps driving electric, which is nice. On the point of view driving, I couldn't floor it really because we didn't have the conditions on the highway. There was a deer, so speed limit was kind of low. Okay, the automatic long beam turned on. I'm gonna switch it off, not to blind these semi-drivers. This is 100 kilometers per hour. Just, there's a rough asphalt here. There will be patches of like smooth and then rough. You might hear the difference. But I'm gonna switch to sport mode. Let me just find that button. So we'll speed up here. I'm gonna floor it all the way. Okay, I'm gonna slow down. This was just a little demo, so you can hear that there's quite some wind noise, but mostly tire noise. I'm on winter tires, so it's a lot noisier at higher speeds. There's a smooth patch of asphalt and then a rough one. I'm never sure, like, I know when I've watched the videos, when I do the montage, you can hear sometimes, yeah, the difference, but let's switch back to normal. Now, I've tied the ambient lights to driving mode, so those are different. Now, I'm gonna turn on the cruise for a moment, so I'm just gonna say 100 here, and I'm gonna show you the driving part. So here you can control the distance, normal, close, far, and you have the lane assist. But look at this, I'm gonna deliberately just push the car to the side. It's keeping me in the center. But what I've noticed on my trip, it's let's go to the driving here now, to the, excuse me, to the dials. It tells you keep your hands on the steering wheel, okay, normally. And you can see the green steering wheel. This is when it keeps the car in the lane. But what happens at some point, let me just push it to the side here. It's, yeah, it just, this time it, you know, it intervened. But it's green, and then for a moment it goes gray. Not sure why. And then at one point I was just trying to change the radio station, and I guess it disengaged, and I realized I departed my lane. Luckily there was no traffic behind me, but that was for me like a little bit concerning. So always, you know, you have to pay attention when you're driving. You cannot rely on these things 100%, so just cautious. This is the long beam, so there's no traffic, so I just want you to see a little bit how that looks. It turns off for the incoming traffic. Whoa, that's not supposed to happen. See, you can rely on this technology. I guess it didn't realize that it didn't keep me in the lane. It just decided to pull me to the other side. I guess it got confused by the departure lane that's you know, like divided here. So I'm just gonna disengage the cruise control. Honestly, I've tested so many Peugeot cars that I haven't experienced this before, so I'm not sure if there's like a software update they can do to maybe fix this, but I would advise you to be very careful using the lane assist. Luckily there's that button here on the side, and yeah, you can, there's not even a message. There's for everything, for the automatic wipers and so on. But okay, yeah, it says now that I've deactivated the, oh yeah, the steering wheel goes away. So the lane assist, bit sketchy, wouldn't trust it 100%. So that was a bit weird. I haven't resetted the fuel consumption. I wanted to see if it's, yeah, it's slightly increased, but I did floor it a little bit on the highway, but it hasn't really changed. It just passed the 300 kilometers threshold, and yeah, 600 here, almost 7. So there's a police officer monitoring speed, and just wanted to get off the lane that's too close to him. He was next to the car, so for his safety. Yeah, it's 80 speed limit. We do have a tolerance of 10 kilometers up to 100 kilometers, so I was driving 83. So as you can see, he didn't pull me over because it's tolerated by speed monitor law. On the highway you can drive 10%, but you know, if you're from abroad, just skip to 140 max. You should be safe. If you're driving 150, you know, they might try to give you a fine because you won't go to the court and dispute that. If you do, they're gonna dismiss it, of course. But yeah, that's Croatia and Croatian laws there, just for those of you visiting. I don't wanna, could have passed, but it's a bit long. Yellow light, but there you go. The brakes are good. You know, they're not super aggressive, but they are more sensitive, and they brake quite good. Now we are going to get to the part where we might do a 0 to 100. I'm not really excited for that, to be honest, because it's not super fast. I honestly haven't checked for this car at all, but I will put a link to technical details for this car in the video description, and dimensions, cargo space, so you can check that out as well. That's informative. And then we gotta get out to the part where there's no street lights. You can see the performance of these headlights outside the city as well. We shall do 0 to 100, although it's quite warm and I'm on winter tires, but I don't think they'll be ruined completely. Actually, I won't do the braking part, because for winter tires, if it's really warm, you're destroying them more by braking hard rather than accelerating, although the acceleration is also not the best for them for the wear and tear, but the braking just, you know, destroys those small threads. Oh, well, it's not that bad. It kind of starts pulling at later. Okay, I'm not gonna brake too hard because of the tires. It started nicely and then it kind of slowed down and then it started increasing, so not sure what to say there. It's a con of a petrol engine, and I'm saying this because I drive a Tesla, so it's just electric motors always have full instant torque and they just fly off. There's no delays between the gears or something because there's no gears. But you know, those are the pros and cons of both. Okay, so this I noticed is a lot sharper beam. It has this like an L edge perhaps. Long beam is nice and bright. What memory serves me is with the projectors, there's not that cut in the light beam, but it is more or less the same. I'm gonna take out the iPhone camera because it has a better sensor, so just to show you. So this is how it looks at night. You can see also the digital cockpit, but focusing on the beam there and a long beam. So in person this is very good. It's more cold light rather than warm, maybe on the camera. Actually, I have that blue filter, so that's why it's on my screen warm. But yeah, it's a nice beam. So currently I'm driving 63 and it just keeps using the battery and the electric, and now it switched to petrol. But you can do a lot of electric driving with this mild hybrid, and it just helps you, especially in the high traffic in the rush hour, to, you know, use the battery and save on fuel. So that's really nice. Now I'm going to do a little navigation. So let's see. Okay, now I'm behind me. Let's go. So it gives you route options. I'm gonna pick the actually it already picked the shortest route. Now just a little demo here. This is in the city and really short. It does give you signs where to exit, in which lane you have to be when exiting, so it's really good. I've used it on my way to Zadar.
You will arrive at your destination at 2:19.
You can mute here if you don't want the turn-by-turn voice navigation. And just to show you actually here on the navigation, you can see it also in the middle screen. Also the turns as well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, as far as my memory serves me. Now, from all of you from watching from Croatia or abroad, if you're coming from Zagreb to Zagreb, excuse me, there's a new speeding camera. So there's a 70 speed limit and then switching to 60. That's why I'm driving 60. And on this pillar right here, there is a new speeding camera. So have that in mind. Waze has it. Now, I'm mentioning this because this navigation has speed cameras, but it's not updated with this latest recently placed speed trap, and it usually signals you when you're getting close, so it reminds you that there's a speeding camera or speed trap. Yeah, so see, I'm coasting and I'm using the electric drivetrain in this case. Battery is still depleted, but don't worry about the battery, it's always going to be charged, so it's really not something you have to worry at all. So to wrap up the review here on what's the verdict, should you buy it or skip it? Well, I would say the 208 is well equipped. The GT trim is very rich, but I would go for the Allure. And I also saw the active trim. So, you know, some of you will get active trim as a company car. It's really not that bad. It looks good. But if you're a private customer, I think Allure is a really good amount of equipment. And then if you have extra money or you really like the GT trim, it has all the goodies, so go for it. But in this hybrid, mild hybrid version, it is called just a hybrid on the badge on the back of the car. It's almost close to, I forgot now, it was 28 or almost 29,000 euros. So that's kind of pricey, and you're getting close to the electric version. I would prefer the electric version because it just has more torque, more juice. And then I think you can get the new 156 horsepower version electric motor instead of 132, I think. And that is way faster for this kind of small city hatchback. Or you can just go for the just the pure petrol, and then the car will be definitely cheaper. But the 2.8 is really a sweet little car, and I've got a lot of comments from you guys in the past. I did review the pre-facelift electric version, and there was a lot of positive comments for the 208 and a lot of love. So smaller facelift, yes, price hike, it's inflation, so it's completely not justified. I agree 100% on that. They did do improvements, but I don't think they're that much worth. But it is what it is. If you want the car, it's really great, it's improved, and you're gonna enjoy this car. I've been enjoying this car so much for this past few days, and you know, I really liked it. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy it as well. If you're a regular audience, you know, we're gonna wrap it in the garage. Now just to lower the window. Since this drives electric, it also has the pedestrian warning sound, so you can hear the whoosh sound. You can hear that. All the petrol has kicked in, and you can hear the electric thing now. You don't need those, so on this mild hybrid you can drive electric at lower speeds, or up to 100 kilometers, I think. Let's get here, and actually let's get closer to that light so I can wrap up and you can see the color a little bit better in this garage ambience. So reverse cameras once again, just in the garage. It's a bit darker here. You can see there's no cameras on the side mirrors, but they do map front and rear, so you get a 360 feeling of how things look around you. That's it. Don't forget your valuables. Anyways, I would appreciate your comments, all of your shares, likes. It helps me get more views, but also helps a lot of people who might be looking at this car to check this review, and hopefully if you find this video informative, it will reach them as well, and you know, help others as well. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe if you want to see more. Just a little walk around again around the car. It looks once again beautiful in this lime green color, especially in the GT trim, but even the Allure trim just looks so good. You get the same taillights on the Allure. You don't get the spoiler. I think that was not included, but the rest of the car I think is pretty much standard. You just get the different alloys. I think it gets smaller dimensions, so it's more comfortable on the road, but and the headlights, these do look cool on the GT trim. They look way better, but the base one are also fine. That's it. I'm gonna wrap it here. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, of course. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.